Hi guys, I'm Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. It's the 23rd of March 2020. The world is currently racked by coronavirus and it's not an ideal thing. Victoria in Australia is currently pretty much in lockdown. My shop's still open, but a lot of them are closing up and the situation's changing quickly. I thought it'd be a good chance for me to show you around my shop and have a chat to you about my views on the virus situation. Many of you wouldn't have seen my shop, so I thought it was a chance to have a wander around. It's quiet today. It is Monday. We had a pretty busy weekend, but I'm expecting that tourists are going to dry up. I don't know how much trade's going to happen. I don't know how long I'm allowed to stay open for. At this stage, they're talking of closing a lot of places, certainly sports stadiums, places of worship, big shopping plazas. Restaurants are only going to be able to do takeaways. Pubs are all closed. And I just walked up the street before to the post office, and the butcher up there is closed, and some of the takeaway shops. Now, at this stage I'm still open, as I said. Let's have a walk through the shop. For those of you that haven't seen it, I'm a second-hand dealer in a small country town in Victoria, about an hour's north of Melbourne. And I've been here 16 years now and do really well. If you've seen some of my videos, you know I clean out house lots. So let's have a look in my shop. And I'll probably do some regular walkarounds for you guys in between my worm farm tests and picking adventures and e-waste scrapping and all the other stuff. So we'll have a little bit of look around here while I'm chatting. This coronavirus is certainly having a huge impact, and I think it'll be more, or even more, an economic impact on a lot of countries than actually health-wise, although certainly the death toll is starting to go up and lots of people are being infected. Australia's handling it pretty well, I think, at this stage, but you know, who knows what's going to happen. It changes from hour to hour. Anyway, have a look around here. You can see that I do all sorts of stuff in my shop, bit of furniture, a lot of bric-a-brac. I do move a lot of stuff cheaply, $2 a pick off that shelf. But with the lockdowns and people not being at work, now I reckon is a fantastic time to use your time to advantage. You're going to get a chance to do things that you've just simply in everyday life wouldn't get a chance to. Anything like perhaps get some plates from a junk shop and start a mosaics course. Get online and learn how to use things while the internet's still going, and hopefully it doesn't stop. YouTube's a great reference for doing all sorts of stuff. You could learn how to restore furniture. I've got some great project pieces here. Not that I'm trying to make sales from this video, but this is a nice Victorian. It's a writing desk and bookcase. Needs a lot of work. Someone might upcycle it into something else. But, you know, what a better time to get in your shed and tinker. You're certainly going to be isolated from people. Teach yourself woodwork, trial and error, or get on YouTube and follow some tutorials. Great time to do something like that in normal life you'd never get a chance to. You could read books. Certainly if the internet's down, that's all I used to do was read books. You might discover a passion that you didn't know you had, and at 5 or 10 years' time you look back and say, well, that 2020 year with the coronavirus, well, you know, that prompted me to try something that I've never tried before, and now look what I'm doing. So, you know, you just never know what doors are going to open. I think it's important to keep a really positive attitude, and you know, when things happen, don't look at the negatives. You know, oh, we can't go to the pub and can't celebrate that wedding, or we can't go to work, which, you know, in a lot of cases it's probably going to be cool, although of course the financial stress is going to come into play, so you need to be sensible with all that. So yeah, I just thought I'd share some thoughts. I'm going to stay open as long as I can. A pretty lucky situation here in that I don't have employees, I don't have a massive big lease to meet, I don't have loan repayments to make. There's only myself. Christine, my partner, has her own shop in a similar situation. Whilst we're open, I think we're in a pretty safe situation in that We can social distance. We have a counter between us and customers. I only take cash in my shop, but I make sure I use the hand sanitizer. And every time someone gives me some cash, I just make sure I use that. I'm not sure of the current information about this virus, but they reckon, up to 15 minutes face-to-face time is not necessarily ideal, but it's certainly, they were saying it's safe. If you go longer than that, it's more of an issue. We're talking 30 seconds to make a sale with a counter between us. So, hopefully that's okay. I don't have contact with any other people at the moment. We do teach rock and roll dancing and we do play table tennis, but all that's been cancelled. So in the meantime, we're going to handle this lockdown pretty well. Certainly while we can keep our shops open, we should be able to keep an income. But it does depend on how many tourists are around, of course, and how many people want to spend money. The other option we've got is we do eBay. We sell on Facebook. So eBay may well take off with a lot of people in lockdown. If they've got the funds, they might just do a lot of online shopping, have things delivered. It's possible. We'll have to try it. What is popular may change. People may not buy collectibles like they used to. They may not buy top quality antiques, antique bottles, things that are luxuries that don't have practical use. In these changing times, the value of those might plummet. But perhaps we can sell more practical items through eBay. It's just a matter of trying things out. I have had success selling car manuals and that sort of stuff on eBay. And if people are stuck at home in their sheds, perhaps they're going to start that car restoration project that they've had stacked away for a few years, or, and they want a car manual for it. So who knows? But you can see in my shop, I do sell all sorts of stuff. Nothing's off limits. I often say to people, within the law, I often say to people that I specialise in not specialising. And that's why I love to do house cleanups, because you just never know what you're going to find. This room here, which we're scanning around, is what I call the bloke's room, for obvious reasons. There's lots of tools, shed stuff. And I probably sell more out of this room than I do out of the rest of the shop. So, I do like to get into sheds, but I grew up on a farm. I was a mechanic for quite a while, small engine mechanic. And, that's my interest, so I'm drawn towards those things. But look, anyway, just thought I'd show you around. Here's a big anvil I picked up at a garage sale one time. I do plan on taking that home. I did have it for sale initially, and I had a couple of guys pretty keen. I had $1,500 on it. It's a nice early anvil, probably late Victorian, on a huge big stump. And they're very popular. They're very hard to get these days. And that's why I thought I'm probably never going to find another one like that, so I will take it home. And since then, I've been disappointing people just about every day when they ask how much it is. I will get there at some stage, and now that I might have some time off from work, well, I can probably go home and organise my shed. But as I said, we plan to stay open if we can. This room's my kitchen room. And now that I'm doing e-waste, as some of you would have seen on my videos, I do get a lot of stuff that's still perfectly fine, just needs cleaning up and testing. And having a second-hand shop's ideal in that I can sell the stuff. It'd be pretty hard to do this sort of e-waste dealing and get rid of stuff without a shop. But, I do pretty well on all this stuff. Look at that juicer, I've got $35 on it. It's near new. And I've got my test and tag license, and it tests out fine. So scrap wise, all you've got in something like that is a cord, an electric motor, and a lot of plastic, so a little bit of stainless steel. So value wise for scrap, there's probably $1 or $2 tops. So even if I got $10 for it, I'm better off. So my shop's really handy. I love it for just the whole treasure hunting thing and the whole processing of stuff. And now that times are getting tough, as I said earlier, perhaps the luxury collectibles won't sell that well, but people do it tough. They'll come and buy second-hand items rather than new. If you need a new coffee machine, This one works perfectly fine, and it actually came from a place where the elderly lady was addicted to telemarketing ads, and she'd buy so much stuff. I think she had 3 air fryers, and a lot of it was virtually brand new. So second-hand wise, I might sell a bit of that stuff now that people necessarily won't go and buy new things. Here's another one. This one's a Philips brand multi-use home cooker. Works beautifully, pretty much as new. And I don't know, I think I found that they were $100, $150 or something, maybe more. I just put $30 on it. So I can make some dollars in the second-hand line, assuming I'm allowed to stay open, because that stuff's probably not worth eBaying with the postage aspect. But who knows, eBay might really take off now, as long as the post offices stay open. Okay, as you can see, I've got all sorts of stuff in here. I do sell a lot of pots and pans and things for the campers. And, you know, keep them cheap, turn it over. I'd rather sell it than dust it. And you may have noticed my lampshades here, made out of old pots. That one's a steamer. That one's a strainer of some sort. And just a large saucepan one over that side. I actually did a video on those. Easy to make, great little upcycling project. I've had a few people ask me about selling them, but I kind of like them there and I haven't had a chance to make more, so at this stage I'm not. What else can you do when you're in lockdown? Well, learn another language. I've got all sorts of foreign language books here. I don't even know what most of them are. But what a great time to study another language. So you can learn skills while you're in lockdown. Stop yourself going stir crazy, you know, get rid of that cabin fever thing. Involve yourself in something, and it'll not only help you get through it, but when you come out of it down the track, you'll have some more skills. Okay, so I'll wind this video up. I've just been waffling on, but hopefully you've enjoyed my walk around my shop. If you spotted anything you want, well, perhaps I can organise postage, so shoot me a message. But I just thought I'd give you a bit of a look around my shop. A lot of my YouTube followers haven't seen it. And, you know, keep your head up with regards to this worldwide pandemic. It's not necessarily going to be the end of the world. It'll certainly change things, but those that will get through it well are the people that can adapt. So don't stick to your old habits. Take each day as it comes, and you know, I know it's easy to say, but you know, just look at the given information, try and do as you're instructed with regards to social distancing. If everyone actually did that and everyone did it properly, we would pretty much stop this thing in, well, they're saying 2 weeks, really. I mean, if the virus cannot transmit and people either, well, let's be frank, people either die or recover, then surely that will be the end of it. So unfortunately, not everyone does the right thing, but look, if everyone does their bit, it's got to help, and hopefully we can get over it. But of course, it's much better if we don't catch it in the first place, and I think the social distancing thing is just critical. I think that some of the best advice I've heard is to treat your situation right now as if you've actually got it, or you suspect that you've got this coronavirus, and isolate yourself. And don't infect others, don't risk infecting others. And if everyone does that, you can have your 2 weeks in isolation or longer, and you can feel good while you're doing that, rather than catching it and getting sick and then having 2 weeks feeling crap. If you feel good, at least you can get some stuff done at home, you can build your garden up, you can, all these other things I mentioned, you can learn a new language, you can start new hobbies, you can spend time with family if you're careful with contact. You can even look up some of my YouTube videos and learn how to make bowls from records. It's, as I keep mentioning, it's a great time to take advantage of a window opening to do something that you never would have had a chance to do, or deal with stuff that you just forget about otherwise when you get sort of wound up in day-to-day life. I think this whole thing's going to reboot humanity. Things are going to be different. It's certainly a massive, you can really call it a turning point. People will learn to deal with things differently. Some people won't deal with things. As I said earlier, I think the people that adapt well will be the ones that are prepared to change and look at the positives and that sort of thing. It's really a Control-Alt-Delete on humanity almost. Anyway, that's my view. Really it comes back to a good attitude, doing the responsible thing, and hopefully it blows over as quick as it turned up. So I won't drone on any longer. Thanks for listening to my thoughts. Hope you've enjoyed the look around the shop. Feel free to look up my YouTube channel and subscribe and follow my videos on recycling. That's actually something else with this virus. I did read something on Facebook about travel, and they reckon that the air quality over places like China and Europe is already improving with the lack of travel and the pollution from the airplanes and industry. So look, maybe there's a message in that. Maybe the Earth's trying to tell us something. But look, whatever the reason, don't get too caught up in everything you read online. Try and do what your governments tell you. Work together, be responsible, and hopefully we get through it well. So, all right, well, that'll do. I've waffled on enough. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll get back to my other videos, and I'm trying to improve my channel a little bit. I'm going to update my About page as well, and hopefully build up my channel to give you something to watch, give you some information about recycling, and hopefully that will benefit the planet, at least if it's only in your backyard for a start. All right, see you next time. Cheerio.